So the fallout and the inquest will begin for England's exits against Iceland. And it's going to be very important as to how England reacts to getting thrown out and flipped outside of the Euros, because you have to think about when will England learn. Because I would have thought that they would have learned when the golden generation flopped at the 2006 World Cup, or when they got completely and totally humbled by Germany in the 2010 World Cup, or when they didn't qualify for the 2008 Euros. But I thought surely England would have learned when they finished bottom of their World Cup group, that included Costa Rica as well. But then Hodgson somehow kept his job. But then you look at what they against Iceland, so much hope, a different team, younger players, and ultimately they came up short. And you ask yourself that what is the problem with England, and why do they keep finding new ways of reaching these lows? And I think it's simple. It's simple. I believe that it's how they react to these downfalls. And I tweeted it and I said, many times that England needs to be humble. They are not a major footballing nation anymore. That's just not it. They cannot be mentioned in the same breath as Germany, as Spain, as Italy, as Argentina, as Uruguay, as Chile. They're not as good as Portugal. And looking at what Croatia are doing, they're not as good as Croatia. I don't think they're even as good as Poland. As in, England have to come into tournaments now where you're an underdog. You're a complete outsider. They should never, ever be mentioned as favorites, because you have to earn that right. They haven't sniffed a semi-final since 96. As I tell you, since 96, they have not sniffed a semi. So surely that must try and, tell you something like that. Something has been really wrong if you go for so many years and you've so underperformed. And my thing with England is that it's the mentality. It's the mentality that you approach these things with. England are a 4-4-2 team. Not 3-5-2, not 4-2-1-2, not 4-3-1-3. They're a 4-4-2 team. And this is not me being disrespectful or rude, is that there are some people who understand more complex formations and can play them better. Spain, Italy, Germany, they understand how to play a bit more complex systems where people are revolving around different positions and so forth. That's not England's game. England are more effective where it's 4-4-2. You have your wingers, possibly your wing backs, but you really have your wingers. You have your two strikers. You've got your strike partnership, and it's a very well-defined structural system, and they can do damage with that. You look at what Sheringham and Shearer did back in '96. Two strikers. So you try to complicate things and try to think you're more than what you are. You're just going to fall flat on your face. So, and I think that as well, it's people as well. Obviously, you want to get behind your country and have faith that, your guys can do stuff. But I think, this is a huge humbling that Iceland gave them. And this could be the best thing that Iceland gave them if England reacted in the right way. And the right reaction is to completely change how they approach these tournaments and go back to what works. It's simple as that. Go back to what works. Don't try and mimic other countries that you can't mimic. You cannot mimic the Spanish way of playing. You cannot mimic the continental way of playing, because they play in a different kind of way based on their culture and based on their abilities. So for England, they have to focus on how they played in the 90s, under Venables, under Hoddle. And hence why I said that Hoddle, I think, would be the right manager for them. And if Hoddle comes in, harking them back to a very simple ABC kind of football way of playing. And that's not being insulting. It's all about being effective. It's all about winning games. If you win games playing A 4-4-2 ABC, simple, well-defined system. That's all that matters. Because at the end of the day, winning is all that matters. It's not how you win; it's whether you win. So that's the thing right now is that because I never put England as favorites. I said, oh, no, these guys they could do something. But then when they were unable to beat Slovakia and they conspired to allow Wales to win the group, I said they can't be mentioned as dark horses. They can't even be mentioned as dark horses. I know they've got to earn the right to even become dark horses. So in the World Cup in 2 years' time, and England are just coming in as a team. They're not favorites. They're not dark horses. They're not to be feared. They're just coming in as just a team coming in. Just coming in as a team, like possibly on the level of like maybe Croatia, maybe like around the level of Croatia and Poland, but maybe slightly below Croatia and Poland. Because that's just me being real. England are not as good as a football team as Croatia and Poland. They're just not as good. That's just me, saying it as how it is. So, a lot has to change, But the thing about international football is, and the beauty about it is that it's an identity thing. And you're looking at what Conte has done with Italy. Conte has taken Italy back to what works for them. Where at Prandelli, it was like, what the hell is happening? Every country has their identity. England are not an attacking team. They're not a defensive team, but they're a team who are very physical and tough to break down. They're not a defensive team. They're a balanced 4-4-2 team. They're a team that should have wingers. They're a team that should be crossing the ball into the box. They're a team that should have two strikers that work together. That's the kind of team that England should be. And they should never, ever stray away from that. And once you realize that, then maybe things will begin to change for them. And also the important thing is don't have scapegoats. Oh, it's all Horton's fault. Oh, it's all Joe Hart's fault. Oh, because if you do that, it's just going to be a vicious cycle. And Russia, you'll get out in the groups again. Fix at the core. And it's so simple. Go back to when did things really work for England? It was in the 90s. The last time things worked for them was in the 90s. So go back to how you all played in the 90s and start from there. Go from there. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. There was nothing wrong with how they played in the 90s. There was nothing wrong with how they went out. They went out on penalties, on luckily in a very good game against Argentina. So you've got to go back to what works. Have reports. Follow me. If you want any video request or any request of videos you want me to do, please tweet at me and I will try my best to get at them. Hopefully you found this video entertaining. Please share with your people out there. Peace out. Stay true. All right.